Am I the asshole for not allowing my ex to see sonogram photos of his child? I, 32 female, dated my ex, 33 male, for 2 years. During that time, our relationship was very difficult. One weekend, he was mad at me because he thought that a man was trying to flirt with me when we were at a store. So he refused to speak to me the entire weekend. We did not live together full time. That Saturday, I found out I was expecting but also losing said expectation at the same time. I tried to call him from the hospital, and he ignored my call, so my best friend called him, and he did answer for her. She told him what was going on. She lives out of state. He didn't reach out to me or come to the hospital. I did not hear from him until the following Tuesday. Needless to say, I never got over that, and we broke up shortly thereafter. He never apologized and said the problem took care of itself. Now a year later, he reached out and wants to see the sonogram photos and talk to me about what happened at the hospital. I declined and told him that due to his actions that weekend, he did not deserve any further information or to see the photos. He flipped out and called me every name in the book. So I must ask y'all, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Hashtag he is just using this as an excuse to get back in your life. Ignore him and block him. You don't owe him anything. Not the asshole. The problem took care of itself, is all I needed to hear, to be honest. Anyone saying anything other than complete zero contact does not care about your well-being, to be honest. Not the asshole. He didn't care about you or the baby then, and he's only asking now to get back into your life or use those photos to gain sympathy from someone else over how difficult it was for him to lose his child. Am I the asshole for not sending coworker my template after he basically used my stuff in a meeting and didn't mention I helped? I, 28M, work on a small team, and there's a newer guy on our team. I'll call him Joe. We sit near each other, and our work overlaps a lot, so I've helped him out here and there. A few weeks ago, he asked me how I put together this weekly report we have to do. Over the years, I've made my own template and a routine that makes it way faster. He asked if I could send him my template file. I told him I'd happily walk him through how I do it and explain the steps, but I didn't really want to just hand over my exact file. It's basically my personal workflow, and I've tweaked it forever. So I stayed after work and spent about 45 minutes showing him everything. I shared my screen, explained where I pull the numbers, order I do things, what to watch out for, all of it. He took notes, thanked me, seemed totally normal about it. The next week we had a team meeting, and Joe presented his report for the first time. And I'm sitting there listening like this is basically my report. Same everything, even a couple little phrases I always use when I explain the numbers. When our boss asked him how he put it together, Joe said something like, I built a simple structure that makes it easier, and left it at that. I mean, no mention that I spent time walking him through it at all. After the meeting, I pulled him aside and said, hey, I'm glad it went well, but it felt weird hearing you use my exact structure and wording and not even mentioning I helped you. He got defensive right away and said he didn't think he needed to credit anyone for help and that I was being insecure for even bringing it up. Since then he keeps asking again for the actual template file like it would save time, and I already understand it anyway. I told him no and said I'll answer questions if he's stuck, but I'm not sending him the file. Now he's been cold to me, and I've heard he's telling people I'm gatekeeping and trying to make him look bad. A couple coworkers said I should just send it because it's a team environment, and it's not that deep. I don't want to be the difficult person, but also feel like I already helped him a lot, and he showed me exactly how he's going to act with it. Am I the asshole for refusing to send the template? Not the asshole. If he wants credit for the work, he should, do the work. Not the asshole. I genuinely hate the it's not that deep crew, because it is that deep. Don't worry about him, just tell your boss who made it yourself, and make the file publicly available for company-wide use. That'll prove you made it, make you a hero, and coworker can't say anything negative about the situation. Wins all around. Would I be the asshole if I told my neighbor that I can see everything? Not totally sure this fits here, but I would like some advice about how to broach this subject with my neighbor. I live in an apartment complex, and we all have floor-to-ceiling windows. I have a neighbor who lives a few doors down. We have spoken maybe 5 words to each other. The thing I don't know how to bring up is her window faces my windows at a pretty weird angle. So anytime I look out my own window, it's like a perfect view of her apartment. Recently, she's been walking around a lot less clothed, going to the bathroom with the door open, things like that. So anytime I look out my window, it's just right there. I'm literally not trying to be a creep. I'll be checking to see if a friend is pulling up, or watching the birds with my cats. Whatever it is, but it's the first thing I end up seeing. I've been mulling over how to bring this up in any of our elevator rides together, but I have no idea if I should just let it be, or tell her that her windows are just as visible as mine are. You can see directly into my apartment if you're walking down the block, so I installed blackout curtains that I only open for light for my plants. So, would I be the asshole if I just straight up told her I can see her bezoingas every night? I would surmise that she doesn't really give a fuck. You're probably not the only one who can see in her windows. Don't give it another thought. Run over to her appointment and knock on the door and tell her in a concerned tone that you just looked out your window and realized you can see into her window. If she asks if you always can, say you hadn't noticed until now. Hate to tell you, but she knows. Would I be the asshole for calling out my friend lying about making reservations? I, F35, have a friend, F35. Let's call her A. I've known A since grade school. Her birthday is coming up, and she wanted to go to a restaurant for a group dinner. I asked if she made reservations at the restaurant, and she said yes. She said it was X day at X time for party size of X under her name. For context, last year for her birthday, A planned a group dinner thing, but did not make reservations. She picked a place that does not do reservations. I had recommended to her then to pick a backup. I mentioned she would, and she would pick a place that does take reservations. I took her word for this. The wait at the first restaurant, the one that doesn't do reservations, was over an hour wait. We then find out she did not make reservations at the backup restaurant. The backup was also more than an hour wait. The place we did ended up going to had a wait time of 45 minutes. The time it took to drive around and call took approximately 90 minutes in total. To make sure the past doesn't repeat itself, I called up the restaurant to ensure the reservation were made, pretending to be her. I find out no reservations were made at all. The restaurant said they didn't have anything under a name, not even for the week before or after. They also don't do online reservations, so no possibility of that as well. I make the reservation to fix the situation. As mentioned in the group chat, the reservation was made several times. This irks me as I know she did not. Would I be the asshole to call her out of this after the dinner? I don't want to call it out before as it would make things awkward. Why don't you be proactive and ask her directly now instead of after the dinner? That is the common sense move. I'd have put the reservation under my name, so when she showed up trying to claim she'd made the reservation it would be clear she hadn't. Not the asshole. What is your problem? You are a 35-year-old woman, and this is the way you handle things with your friends? This is so incredibly immature. You are the asshole.